pornography dictates males' desires. So if you look at what men are into, it's very much dictated by the content they find in pornography. Pornography tells you what you like. You don't tell pornography. Pornography will put something out there, make it common, and then people will be like, yeah, I actually quite like the idea of sleeping with my stepsister. Where'd you get that from?
Most people have watched pornography.
Yeah. I haven't, though. Are you proud of me?
So I remember the first time I saw pornography, I think I was about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 years old. I was
super young in your generation.
I was at a friend's house. We were playing computer games up in his loft, and his dad had this chest in the corner. And in this chest in the corner were these Penthouse magazines, Playboy magazines.
Really?
And we looked at them and were like, okay, shut them in, terrified that our fingerprints might be on them. And then we ran away, never to be seen again. And then some years later, I was working on a building site in my summer holidays, and there was some pornographic magazines that were in the cafeteria for the builders. And I saw them as well. And so that was my first exposure. And then thereafter, I did, at my age, I didn't get a chance to see videos because you had to go to the video shop and hire a video. But hold on. But nowadays, everybody has access to it, regardless. Everybody has access to it on their device anytime they want to have. What kind of damage... I can't believe I've just told that information.
Yeah, pervy child.
my mum won't forgive me. Mum, by the way, it was at Auntie Jackie's. My mum listens to every podcast. I was at Auntie Jackie's. It was Bose in his chest. Russell showed it to me. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way.
Amazing. Auntie Jackie, it was like, yeah.
I love you, Mum. But I remember, I believe that if you're in a relationship or if you're single, that there's a place for people that enjoy that kind of stuff. It shouldn't be kind of like it's bad for everybody. Or do you believe differently?
I believe differently because I just think, look at what you described there. Look at the amount of shame and guilt attached to just looking at pornography, looking at another woman. The shame and guilt that you might feel like asking for a magazine on the top shelf. Men knew there was something seedy about that. What's happening now is we've removed that shame and guilt attached to sexual pleasures. So what's happening is pleasures have no cap. There's no shame, there's no guilt. Now, absolutely, I understand that there might be an element of it, but here's how pleasure works. It takes more of it to create the same level of dopamine. Now, if we're starting at 10 years old, children are getting watching porn. As they age, it's going to take more and more and more and more. And there's
never... What do you mean more and more?
More, it's going to take
more extreme stuff.
Well, more novelty.
More novelty, okay.
And novelty, this is where we get child trafficking and pornography. People don't start with child pornography. They start with just normal stuff. Then they go on to like bisexual stuff, then they go to transgender stuff, and then it works slowly. The devil is patient. The devil is patient. He'll start with normal desires, and they get more and more insidious. Before you know it, you get to a place you don't recognize. Now, there's never been a serial killer on death row that hasn't been addicted to pornography. Can you believe that?
What?
They did, and they did this study.
Say that again.
There's never been a serial killer on death row that was not addicted to pornography, and this was in the 90s. They did this study. So imagine... In the 90s, people on death row were addicted to pornography when it was difficult to find VHS, headphones, there was no such thing. So imagine in this day and age where being addicted to pornography is a norm. Imagine the impacts of it creating narcissistic women, as we talked about in society, and psychopathic men. And marriages, so many marriages fall apart because men are unable to get an erection from their wife. Imagine watching all sorts of porn and then going to your normal wife who breastfeeds your children and expecting to have a physical connection. It won't work. So the damage caused by porn outweighs any positives. I don't believe there are any positives, but if they were, the damage is far more ubiquitous than any benefit.
Wow,
Ted Bundy does a really great breakdown on this, and Ted Bundy's fantastic case study because he didn't have a particularly traumatic childhood. And as a psychologist, the first thing you look at is their childhood. You're like, okay, this I'll go to. And he had 2 loving parents, and he did a really great interview, and he said that I came from a healthy home, everything was okay, but I'm not saying it was pornography, But pornography introduced me into a world I didn't know was humanly capable. So then I wanted to test my human desires. It's a great interview because he's so articulate with it.
Okay, some other questions for you on this particular subject then. Open relationships and cheating. What are the boundaries in that?
I have to preface this with saying I don't have much experience in working with people with open relationships, and I don't have as much experience. In my small amount of experience of what I've seen is open relationships, a bit like, when people used to have 2 wives and stuff like that. It sounds good on paper, but it works only when you're not emotionally attached. So in cultures where they have 2 wives, 4 wives, like we see in Dubai, marriage is a duty. It's a coming together of 2 families and creating a home. So people can work well with that. Now, when we've got this romanticized idea in the Western world where you have to be madly in love and connected to your husband and wife, when you see an element of that being taken to somebody else, it's a matter of time where you just either start to want that person, a partner back, or you just, why am I here? If I don't love you enough to have that connection, why am I here? So it doesn't work in the same capacity, I would imagine. What would you think?
The thought of, after being married once and married again, the thought of having
2 mother-in-laws,
2 wives, thought of having 2 wives or 3 or even 4 wives, to me, it's just like, it sounds really draining to me.
But and again, this is my lack of experience. So, in the process of women, when they have kids and they get busy, can you understand why there's 2 wives in those kind of environments?
I think that when people have 2 kids and they get busy, that means that you need to do work with your wife on understanding that the kids, although they're the priority in terms of responsibility and caring, they got married.
Yeah.
And there needs to be work done on trying to remember that the husband should be treated like the husband.
Yeah.
But I've experienced it myself where the kids came first.
Because I experience this a lot with men when the first-time fathers are the most likely to be unfaithful. And a lot of studies have found this, and they try and put it down to a woman's low sex drive and this, that, but it's actually the lack of attention they receive in their own home. They come home from a busy day of work and she's not looking at them anymore. She doesn't greet them. She's busy with it. And this is no disrespect for her because the job is really tiring, but he starts to feel like a stranger in his own home. She's just prioritizing everything over him, and he's working and coming back and seeing nothing, no role for him.
That person then cheats. The guy then cheats. And finds something either more exciting, more new, more attention. That happens then, which leads then to the downfall of the relationship.
And then it's another trauma of being by yourself again, and then realizing the girl that you were cheating with wasn't that great. It's just that you needed a bit of attention. And so I think remaining connected is the antidote to all of this trauma.
Okay. Now, how does it work differently here with the mentality of Emirati or Middle Eastern women compared to women back in the West? Do you see a difference in behavior, understanding, interpretations, or is it all the same?
I would say, I think it used to be really, really different. I think the women used to have this mentality that they're a bit more financially entitled, like my partner pays for everything and sorts everything out, but then I will look after him in terms of cooking and cleaning and stuff. What's happening now with the rise of social media, it's giving everybody kind of globalized norms and values. And the entitlement of women is starting to creep into cultures where women are still expecting that financial investment without giving any of that domestic duty. So what's happening in Western women is that they're now seeing that I want a lifestyle, I want to be flown out, I want a bag, but none of them are thinking, I'm going to make my husband a cup of tea when he comes home, I'm going to cook dinner, I'm going to make sure his clothes are ironed. Again, the narcissism is creeping in.
Okay, so this is one I hear a lot about guys that say to me, or I hear people say that guys want to have a traditional wife, a partner that stays home, doesn't have a career.
I don't believe that.
Kind of stuff. Okay, let me finish what I'm saying. One of the sexiest things I think that exists for me in women is their career.
Yeah.
Okay. I find it really sexy to see a woman who's driven and focused and passionate and career-minded. I think that's really sexy. One of the ugliest things I see in women is them expecting men to pay.
Yeah.
I find it ugly for a number of reasons. Number one, okay, I understand it if you've got 3 kids and you're busy being a homemate.
Yeah, yeah.
Husband is the breadwinner. I
And
get
treating
that.
him well.
But if there's 2 of you together, you're a team. And to me, if you're a team, you both contribute.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that we go 50-50 at Pizza Hut tonight or anything like that. Okay. But it means we work as a team.
Yeah.
You know, give me money, buy me clothes, buy me handbags, pay for my lifestyle, pay for my life while I sit and
do nothing.
myself.
Yeah.
Okay. You go out and work and you owe it to me because you need to be a man.
Yeah, it's a dangerous mentality to instill.
I think that's disgusting, and I don't get it. And there'll be lots of people that listen to this, and women out there that come from a mindset, okay, where the man should pay. You know, what was his name? 50 Cent. They said to 50 Cent, who
should go on a date?
Pays on a first date? And he said, whoever asks.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe for 1 minute you go on a first date and you go Dutch. Of course, I'm not. You know, I'm not a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe that at all. But being in a relationship with someone where they expect you to pay for everything, period, even though they have a job, a career, and all that kind of stuff, to me, it's like...
Well, it's narcissism. Well, here's the thing. In Dubai, I would say the number one cause of divorce is that it's that woman that sits at home scrolling through her phone all day while nanny's raising... Oh, please, go ahead. Yeah. I was telling Spencer that while you're fasting, if somebody eats in front of you and you're patient, you get more reward from God. So go ahead. Open. So yeah, I was saying in Dubai... What happened?
You're just giving away that it's within Ramadan.
I know. Oh, it's not going to be released, and we cut that out. Yeah, we'll cut that. But what happens in Dubai is that women are incredibly entitled in the sense that they have nannies looking after the kids, they have a maid cleaning up, and they have a cook cleaning. Cook cooking. And they won't even get their partner a glass of water, but expect everything paid for them. And then he becomes so unbelievably unattracted to her. He can't even physically find himself attracted to her. And they always come to me and say, we've got no sex life. We've got no sex life. Why have we got no sex life? He doesn't desire me or anything like that. And they're thinking it's something in their intimacy. And I say it's because you do nothing you don't court him in any way.
He has no respect for you.
He doesn't respect, and you don't respect yourself, surely, if you're all day, every day just doing nothing while the kids are being raised by somebody else, the food is being cooked by somebody else, you're doing nothing. How do you expect him to be physically attracted to you? There's no emotional intimacy. See, they don't even ask their partner, how was your day, what was going on, and the partner doesn't even tell them because they think she won't understand. She doesn't know what it's like to close a deal. She doesn't know what it's like to meet with investors. Well, am I going to tell a housewife what it's like when you've just invested in the wrong place and you're waiting for your return on investment, it's taking longer? She's not going to get it. So they end up just saying, how are the kids? And then expecting, and she's confused why he's not physically attracted to her at the end of the night. He's not going to be attracted to you. So as much as I don't think men want a housewife or anything like that, but they do want to be pampered a little bit. They do want somebody to say, have you eaten? Do you want food? Do you want this? I got you coffee. They do like that pampering, just like women do like when a man buys them stuff and invests in them financially. But there's no intellectual intimacy with a woman who's sat at home doing nothing.
It's the term you just used, invests in them financially.
Yeah.
You just said buys them stuff and invests in them financially. That's the same shit.
But here's the thing.
Buys them stuff.
Whether we like it or not, women are attracted to men who are able to look after them.
Well, Marilyn Monroe says, okay, a rich man is as valuable as a pretty woman.
Exactly.
It's not essential, but it helps.
It sure does help, is what she says. Yeah.
So my value comes, so I'm more attractive because I'm wealthy and you're more attractive because you're pretty.
Yeah.
What are you then if you're pretty and wealthy?
Oh, you're a Sadia Khan. No, I'm joking. Can we cut that out?
So not cutting that out.
Well, if you're pretty and wealthy, then you shoot yourself in the foot. Because here's what I say. When you're a woman who's financially independent, this is what happens. Men don't invest in you at all. They don't financially do anything for you because they think she's strong. And when you don't ask for anything as well.